to both Too Much Sugar and Stay Green, getting 2-0'd by both of them, I believe. Or, yeah, just generally not looking as good. So we'll see about this deathmatch.
Yeah, it's obviously that's a good point. I mean, in the end, you know, it's those are two very good teams. Of course, TMSR, they are going to be playing, in fact, tomorrow, and their death match are going to be matched up against Justice League, of course. And then the final death match is actually going to be between Team Excellent and Internet Gangsters, and obviously that's going to be happening on Friday. But yeah, again, you know, you look at this team though, Absolute Legends on the other hand. Now this is a team I almost wanted to say we don't really know too much about. Obviously, that's not the case. I mean, we know these players and everything. They have history in Heroes of New Earth. But to be frank, I mean, this is a team that, especially when Han Tour Season 2 started, they died off. I mean, a couple of their players actually formed a team that we knew as Coin and Strife Best MOBA, you know, having some fun with their names or whatever. But it never really was that former Absolute Legends team. They brought that back here for DreamHack. They're trying to make a point that, you know, we can come back and we can qualify for a big event like DreamHack and get a trip to Sweden, basically. But you know, if they were still in practice, obviously I'd be giving them a lot more hope here. Simply put, they aren't really as practiced as they've used to be, and that is definitely the worrisome thing, for me at least, when it comes down to it. But again, we are already moving along here with the drafting stage, in fact, so let's go ahead and take a look to see what is actually happening. So as far as the blind bands went, they went Fade, Scout, Parasite, Ophelia. First pick Engineer, you had overalls, Engineer, Tempest, and Keeper. Holy crap, they managed to get those three over there. And then you have Wretched Hag, Kraken, and Master of Arms picked up by AL. But yeah, giving them Keeper and Tempest and Engineer. Oh my god, Lion's looking strong over there.
Oh boy, yeah, Breaky, I think I gotta agree with you that the drafting phase over for the Lions is definitely looking good. But even for the side of Absolute Legends, I mean, the Wretched Hag and Kraken, these are two heroes that people are really favoring in a lot of different situations. Their versatility in both a suicide or a short lane capacity, combined with their ability to really fight at that 10 to 15 minute mark. The big fighting pushes that we've been seeing so much out of all of our top teams really do make those, both of them, quite versatile, and especially with the Master of Arms, excellent anti-push. But now Pebbles coming out here for Lions as well. This is going to set up a Pebbles Engineer mid, a Keeper of the Forest Suicide, plus a strong short lane hero, Corrupted Disciple, Dampier, Slither still on the board. I think Lions are very close to an ideal draft here.
Yeah, out of those heroes that you were suggesting, I was thinking maybe something like that, Corrupted Disciple. Dampier, they do are running the jungle, obviously, so maybe not as likely, but still, Corrupted Disciple is definitely standing out here as a very possible option for Lion Esports Club. And again, they know that they can play their game and do just fine. They don't need to do anything radical. They don't need to pick any crazy hero picks. If anything, that's where AL has to go. You do look at their lineup, though. They got Andromeda as far as the response is, so they got a lot of armor, minus armor synergy, that is, between Master and Andromeda kind of working. Obviously, Kraken can definitely benefit out of that, but I'm a little bit curious, though, with the makings of this lineup, what we're actually going to be seeing. I want to say that's shaping up to be more of maybe a Suicide Kraken, but I don't know, though. I mean, they are maybe even the Suicide Hag here, more of a 2-2-1 line. Lineup isn't out of the question. Slither, though, the final pick for Lions, that's another one that's definitely been stepping up as a go-to powerful hero on the competitive scene. So
yeah, plays a very similar role here, like the Corrupted Disciple, as Swindleballs puts it, a hero that generally speaking just does not lose their lane, and that's what Lions are all about, getting that laning advantage and pandemonium. The final pick here for AL. Breaky, I think we're going to be seeing that Cookies Panda.
Yeah, you know what? It's so... we should have seen it coming, man. I mean, talking about the minus armor, AL, their Cookies especially is known as running that pandemonium when they were a lot more active on the competitive scene. So it is definitely, you know, seeing that not really too surprising in the end. But they are going to be going to the pandemonium pick here for AL. So again, the minus armor synergy, that is most certainly working. So I am still a little bit curious as far as we're going to see that. Usually they run the Master of Arms Pandemonium lane middle, so that very possibly could be the case, but they also could run some kind of tri-lane here, actually. Wouldn't be out of the question either. Some kind of an aggressive tri-lane, perhaps, with the Panda, the Andromeda, and the Master of Arms. So interested to see what AL does, but here we are, Beef, game number 1, and already right off the bat, they're going to be heading towards the top lane. With that said, I want to make a point right here. Obviously, as it's known by now, you might notice a little bit of difference with the mic quality, especially. I am casting from a different setup. Actually, Beef is the one taking care of the production today. Unfortunately, my setup was actually, let's just say, there were people used in the area, and I wasn't able to do the cast from there today. So it's not a big deal, though. You know, here we have the cast. That's what matters in the end. So, you know, hopefully it's not really too massive in terms of not being able to hear me or anything. I'm sure it is just fine, though. But just to get that out of the way before there's more speculation or whatever put on that. Anyways, AL, they protect their jungle off the bat, and now they're going to spread things out here. But
I believe that what we're going to see here is going to be a Kraken Andromeda top. We're going to have a Panda Master mid, and then a Suicide Hag. I think that's probably what's going to happen, and I gotta say that I think I might have preferred to see a little bit different of a lineup here. Maybe something like an aggressive tri-lane or even the dual lane log, and then allowing Wretched Hag to mid. Because right now, Wretched Hag is going to be dominated by this Keeper of the Forest or the Slither, whichever lane they chose to put bottom. And in this case, it's going to be a Suicide Slither, which is rather interesting. And Suicide Slither up against this Kraken Andromeda. Slither won't get much, but Andrew's actually hanging out mid right now, and she does reveal herself. The archer spotted her, and now Andro gonna head... I have no clue where Andro's going right now. Creams, I don't think he knows exactly what he's doing. Maybe he's gonna try to wrap around for... Which, this is a very vulnerable level 1 team from Lions.
It is, and if anything, it's more of just a roaming Andromedas. Looks like what they want to stick with. They know Kraken can hold his own. They know Wretched Hag can hold her own. But, you know, with the setup here from Lions, it kind of brings me to, I wonder if they were really expecting that aggressive tri-lane to possibly come out, kind of like I was hinting at from Lion Esports Club. That would have made sense if that was the case. How the setup is now, though, you know, it's still not necessarily the worst thing in the world, but I am a little intrigued, though, why Andromeda's not at that top lane. They could be really boxing out the Slither pretty damn effectively, but instead they're spending the resources trying to set up a gank here in the middle lane. Now, if they get the Bloodlust kill mid, definitely worth it, but I feel like Andromeda's sitting here currently in the trees waiting for that true opportunity to come through. I mean, Super KG and Sealkid are smart enough players, obviously. They know he's still missing. They know he's possibly roaming around. And you even see Sealkid right here. Yeah, he's right here. Oh, so they even spotted him.
Yeah.
And they're actually going to box him out. So, yeah, not the... It's kind of interesting what AL's doing here.
Yeah, I think that AL got a little bit mind-gamed. I think they expected that there was going to be a Kraken, or excuse me, Keeper of the Forest top, and Andromeda can't really box out that Keeper of the Forest very effectively. She can, however, box out Slither. So Lions getting the better of the mind games right now, and essentially Lions should win all 3 of these lanes. Keeper of the Forest is going to dominate this Wretched Hag bottom, even though Wretched Hag did go into the lane with a total of 400 regen, including 100 that was actually stacked right there. But Lions should do just fine. They should be able to get some farm here in the middle lane. And then up top, because of that presence from the Tempest, Kraken is never going to be able to push up past the position that he's in currently. Now Andromeda coming back up, but she's level 1, so they can actually kill her right now.
Yeah. I was going to say,
yeah,
so if this was here for the getting, yeah, Creams is no doubt dead. This is going to be a bloodlust kill. Who gets it in the end? You figure you want to maybe give it to Slither right here, and Slither is going to get it. Tempest taking a lot of damage as the Minotaur actually even assisting right there, trying to even get him killed, but it's not going to happen. So they get a little bit of neutral camp assistance, but obviously not enough in the end. So, yeah, as you said, I mean, if that was from the beginning, different story. But he comes up there, he's 2 levels, if not 3 levels under level compared to the Slither and the Tempest. He's very vulnerable, as we saw right there. So they just did a great job of collapsing, and obviously well played by Lion Esports Club. So now, especially with that goes back to the point that you're making. Essentially, we see Lions winning all 3 lanes right here, really, to an extent. Now, middle lane, actually, Pandemonium going to initiate. Super KG in some trouble. Cannonball hits. The auto attacks for Master of Arms, but not enough damage. Master actually used the Forked Lightning right there instead of the Go. I wonder if that's a misclick. Top lane, though. Kraken does fall there, Beef.
Yeah, I didn't happen to catch that one on the cam. Was watching mid as you were talking about it, and definitely a very important kill there under the Kraken. Looks like he just kind of ran out of regen, and Slither, 36% of the damage done in this game so far. It's pretty clear why Kraken was out of regen. Breaky, they're going once more in the middle lane. Beautiful kid coming in from Sealkid. The turret is not going to be enough, though, and Pebbles will fall, so AL putting themselves on the board with a kill mid.
Well, this also goes back to this Pebbles pickup here, coming out from Lion Esports Club. He already starts with naturally very low armor And now you throw in Pandemonium with the Master of Arms on top of that. So he's taking extra true damage, basically, when it comes down to it here in the middle lane. And we saw that right there. See, like I said, the first time they initiated, he actually used the Forked Lightning. I believe that was a misclick coming out from Noodle. That time he puts the goo down. They lock him down at least good enough on the goo, get some auto attacks in, and we just saw Pebbles drop right there. So if they can pull off that combination, they can make it work. And that goes back to this middle matchup as well. You see the creep farm. Cookies on Pandemonium. He is having the better time. So it's going to come down to AL. They really need him to have a great time because outside of Pandemonium, not a whole lot is shining here for the Hellborn team. But even with that said, I mean, you have a Suicide Slither now that is 407 gold per minute.
Oh, and speaking of that middle lane break, he looks like the chuck backward onto Engineer here in Pandemonium. Still going to be in some trouble, but they don't have enough mana or spells to actually finish him off. Now, Panda wants to turn this one around onto a Tempest. But Tempest was able to get out of there fast enough. 6 players in this middle lane, so both teams really going to be focusing on this. And a key timing is when these first wards expire. In the next 30 seconds or so, you're going to be losing vision for both teams on both sides of the river. And it's going to be about who gets the next set of wards up, who gets maybe a good counter ward off here in the middle lane, and then which one of the roamers is going to be able to generate pressure for their team. Andromeda and Tempest are going to be key over the next minute.
Kraken might be in a little bit of trouble. The auto attack's coming out. He's going to tsunami charge away, so he will be fine. But hey, do you see Slither continuing to box him out? But yeah, we did see in the middle lane, Tempest actually was coming in to successfully complete that gank, but he was spotted by Master of Arms as he was running in, so wasn't able to go through. But speaking of Tempest, bottom lane, Wretched Hag, she might be in some trouble. They both have their ultimates. Here comes the root, I guess. There's this time. No, just the Elemental Void. They will need the root as well, most likely. Will he use it? Yes, he will, of course. And Present 23 is going to fall. So it did take a couple of damn big ultimates, but it gets a kill on the Wretched Hag. And now they're going to push this bottom lane here.
Yeah, double minion push coming in. Well, maybe not. Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised that they don't try to do that because Tempest isn't going straight back into the jungle. Instead, going to camp a rune. Does end up being bottom, so double damage going back to Pebbles mid, but perhaps wants to get that fast level 7 before he does start the push. And no, there's the first ring of the teacher completed as well. In either case, I have absolutely no problem. See, those 2 ultimates used to actually get the kill on the Wretched Hag.
Yeah.
Was a lot of experience, and as Slither TP's in, Tempest hits level 7. Here comes the push breaking.
Well, you see Slither, obviously he's not building in the wards here with the matchup that he had at the top lane, but even without that, you have the double minion push. So you have plenty of push coming out here. Obviously, AL, they know the ultimates aren't up, even no mana currently on Slither, but that's still not enough to want to be able to defend this. They're kind of around putting in auto attacks. They know they can risk that. But this is going to be a dead tower. Will it be denied? It will be denied. Well timed right there from Present 23. That is not easy, especially with all those minions. That just happened to be the perfect timing coming out from Wretched Hag. As you see, Engineer is roaming over, but he did run right past a ward of sight. So they should have seen that. And it looks like Wretched Hag is going to keep falling back. But they're still going to push. So again, you got to wonder here, is AL going to ever look to respond to this? Can they? I don't know if they can, so counter pushing is probably your best bet. You do got Kraken up top so far. Panda and Andromeda are heading that direction though, so.
Yeah, they're going to actually wrap around right here, and Kraken, he's starting to fall back, doesn't want to show himself on the tower when he starts the TP. This is going to be a fight coming in from Absolute Legends. There's the TP. Ken comes in from Pandemonium, but he's about to go for a leap. There it is.
Poison spray coming out right there. Pandemonium gonna lock down the Commissar on top. Even the face smash gonna use it. Slither goes down, releases Kraken in the background. Keeping the force gonna be found. He does have a root. He's not gonna use it though. He uses the Infist. He's trying to get out of here. They can't see him. They don't have dust or anything. And he will be fine. Andromeda goes down in the meantime. Tempest might fall. There's the root coming out. Double tap for Hanskin. Tempest is still alive. A hat trick for the Tempest. He will finally fall. He nearly gets the quad kill with the minions, but Seal Kid will get the final one. But Lion Esports Club, they dominate that bottom fight somehow right there. But I say somehow, but you know, not really too surprising. Again, AL, that was a risky move to try to defend it as much as they did in the first place.
Yeah, they bring in 5 players right there and not really able to defend the tower. Lions are like, hey, we got a root, we got some good positioning here, gonna play it well. All the while, Pebbles free farming the middle lane, trying to get some kind of recovery going, and just trying to make something happen there, but Lions Esports Club already in a very solid lead, 5,000 gold as a result of those couple towers, and then of course that 7-3 hero kill advantage as well. Able to get a deep lane ward here, so they're actually going to look to set up additional kills in this bottom lane if anybody does get out of position. But speaking of somebody out of position, Pebbles, if he had not just grabbed a haste right there, he probably would have died. And there's Cookies, places a ward of sight on top of one from Seal Kid, so that'll get countered pretty soon. And already Lions rotating into the top lane, gonna go ahead and start the next push.
Yeah. You do see a 5,000 gold in here for Lions. Actually, middle lane, we do see once again that combo. Look at Pebbles just melt! I mean, literally melt. The Goo just takes him down so quickly with those auto attacks and the flick on top of that. I mean, the minus armor between them, it is pretty absurd, and that's showing on Pebbles once again. So, again, that's that shining star that AL has going for them. Is that combo and Pandemonium especially. But top tower is pushed, as you were talking about. You got Slither, Tempest, and Keeper are all upwards of 375 plus gold per minute. So looking at port in the middle lane, we do have initiation. Tempest being locked down. Tempest has an elemental void, not going to be able to get it off though. He gets flicked away, and down he falls. Is it going to come at a cost though? Pebbles comes in. He's going for Andromeda. Nice cannonball stun though. Pebbles dropping now. The face special down the combo side. Down goes Pebbles.
Tempest
more points coming in. Buyback from Tempest. He has an ultimate.
There it is.
Hey, that catches straight. Keeper coming in with the rid on top. The poison, the poison, whatever coming out from Slither, and down they fall. Oh, that was a huge buyback from Tempest, Beef.
Yeah, the 3-man hole. Casual 3-man elemental void right there. So Lions will come out on top of that with yet another 4 kills. Already 11 hero kills for the Lions. Just 10 minutes into this game, 4 towers down, and they're not looking to stop this push anytime soon. When you get this big of a lead this early on in terms of golden experience, Breaky, it becomes so hard to take additional fights, and Lions are just going to knock down all 6 of these towers. They're going to expand their map control into the opponent's woods. And they're just going to make sure that they are resource managing their opponents, not allowing them to get any of their core items. You talk about something like Steam Boots, Helm of the Black Legion, that's a pipe dream here for Kraken. Pandemonium looking for a shrunken head, he's not going to be able to farm it anywhere. Lions are just going to make sure to squeeze out their opponents and make sure to end this game nice and early without giving them a chance.
Yeah, it's you see them just stealing the resources in their own jungle, and AL, they definitely are aware of that. They have 3 players here in the middle lane. They still do kind of Andromeda's, you know, kind of sitting in the background. Obviously, you know, she is very, very vulnerable. You still have Cookies up here in the front lines. He has a Mighty Blade picked up. He's working, my guess would be, of course, towards a Shrunken Head here. But even if he manages to get a Shrunken Head pickup, I mean, obviously, there's still ways with the ultimate from Tempest and the root, of course, from Keeper to even stop him from channeling that face smash. So he is continuing to be in a vulnerable spot, and we do see right here he's going to get caught. He jumps into the Conga pit right there. He is going to be fine as a result. So good use right there. The Master's Call also helping a little bit. But, you know, obviously it's still a good pick. It mitigates damage and whatnot onto him. But it's just one of those cases you feel like it might just be a little bit too late. But, you know, it doesn't have many other options here at the same time. It's a case that he kind of is forced to go into it, especially because of the makeup of the game. There's just a lot of fights taking place. Bottom lane, Pebbles might be in some trouble. And he is going to be in trouble. In fact, he is dead trouble right there. So, Panda continues to play active at least. And something, but...
Continue to not only play active, but get those kills and make sure to shut down Pebbles. Now, Tempest going to be in a lot of trouble right here. He's going to get some assistance from Engineer, but now Kraken coming around the backside. The release the Kraken going to come out inside of the energy field. Tempest going to go down, but Slither and Engineer going to turn this around for at least 1 kill.
He saw Tsunami Charge from Kraken right there. If he did a Tsunami Charge, I think he might have actually been able to live that, but he went through the energy field, ended up killing him. Might have been close anyway. Slither gets locked down, though, and Slither will fall. So it ends up being a 2-for-1, actually, in favor of AL. Keeper of the Forest, he is farming the top jungle while that's happening. And of course, we do have Pebbles at the bottom side now, farming it up. He is still working. In fact, I think he might have just gotten his portal key, or no, he still doesn't have it, but they are going to push the middle lane, however, in the meantime. Keck's not going to be used maybe for a deny attempt. Oh, just a little bit too early. And Nudo gets the credit for the tower kill. So AL, a little bit of momentum there. I mean, it's still a 6,000 gold lead for Lions, as well as a 3,300 experience lead, but at least they get some good, you know, mental state of, okay, we're coming back a little bit. We do have this Pandemonium, and he hits freaking hard. I mean, physical presence, if he can get that Shrunken Head alone, it's going to really help him enhance that damage just because he's able to move around a little more freely, as well as the damage reduction. But, again, there's still a lot of things that need to add up here for AL in terms of feeling at a comfortable spot. Wretched Hag is one of those. She is upwards of 300 gold per minute now herself, so... That's also another decent sign there. How about Keeper's build, though, by the way? Keeper going the Ring of Sorcery, of course, but now he goes straight Arcana, and he has 1,600 gold saved up, so he's just going straight resto, it almost looks like here.
Most certainly is, and I don't necessarily have a problem with this one. It's going to be able to use one of them to interrupt Panda Ultimate and channels, and then, of course, with heroes like Kraken, Panda, and even Wretched Hag that need to get into the middle of these battles, using a second root is really going to help out quite a bit. So not feeling that he's going to need the Soul's Bulwark, not really wanting to push as much as just constantly take team fights. I think this is an interesting decision, and also doesn't necessarily need the portal key either to really get into position, but you can kind of see he's just punching Kraken up top, who's still having a very suffered time. But I gotta say this about that middle tower push out of the Absolute Legends squad. That's probably the most important tower they could have taken at this point. It's going to give them an opportunity to make their way over to the opposing team's Ancients. It's going to open up the jungle and just overall make Lions a little bit more scared. So that was very important, and now the Lions, they're just going to go ahead and try to be grouped up a little bit more, so they're in trouble up top.
Yeah, they're trying to take him out, release the Kraken on top. That is going to be an easy kill. Again, you see this physical presence coming out. We talk so much about Pandemonium in this energy, but Kraken also loves that physical damage, especially with those splash auto attacks. We saw that right there. Slither melted just like Pebbles was earlier on. So if they're able to catch them, get that stun rotation at least, the Torrent on top of the Comet. I didn't even think about that, by the way, but the Torrent also, another minus armor, -5 armor, in fact, at level 4. So yeah, they really do have a lot of makings of minus armor. 4 to the 5 heroes have ways to do that. So again, that continues to be that hope, and that actually does make you look at this Legion lineup maybe a little bit more, and something like that Keeper build. Bottom lane in the meantime, we do see initiation on a Wretched Hag. He is going to fall. Portal key away from Pandemonium, actually. So Cookie's going the early portal key pickup here. I believe he's through that top lane, though. Keeper's getting locked down. Keeper's going to fall. They did lose Hag, but they do take out Keeper at the top lane there. Not too bad of an exchange.
Yeah, I mean, Keeper 440 gold per minute, like, he needs to be shut down a little bit. Not only that, the highest level in the game by a significant margin, gives out a ton of experience. Kraken now finishes up the Helm of the Black Legion, and level 11, so that's very big.
Yeah.
And overall, they might be able to convert this into a tower as well. The tower already at 50% life, and they're able to eliminate the creeps quite quickly. I think it's a little bit too big of a risk. I don't think AL's going to commit to this, especially with no one showing really on any other parts of the map. Well, I got one showing down here bottom, but at the same time, AL says Pebbles needs a portal key. He doesn't have a portal key yet. We can probably take this one, and they're going to start assailing this tower. Looks like they should be able to raise it in pretty quick time.
Oh, Pandemonium going to jump in right there, but that's going to come at a cost. It was a trap all along. He jumps through the energy field. Cookies is going to try to live. They do get the top towers you're talking about. Can Cookies actually escape, though? 3 more seconds. Oh, the turret just a little off there from Steel Kid, and he has another portal key to use. He should be fine here. Yes, as he goes for the TP. Top lane port's coming in, though. Keeper the Force is chasing. He has a root. No, he doesn't have a root, excuse me. So he's not going to be able to chase him down. He's trying to block here. Noodle's getting blocked by the creeps. Well played right there from Joseph fan. So they will get one victim in the long run, but still not too bad from AL. And meanwhile, at the bottom lane, though, Wretched Hag blinking away.
She's on the
man,
boat.
she blinks to a safe spot. I think she's going on the boat. She is fine here. She has a TP in 8 seconds. She will be good.
I'm just like sitting here thinking, I'm like, I'm pretty sure they can see her down there. Wretched Hag, you gotta be careful. Pebbles is gonna make his way over to the side shop maybe and try to pick up the portal key, but already Wretched Hag has ported out. And Ranky, I gotta say, that was really nice control. Top 3 control, you would even say, there on Keeper of the Forest with those minions. He does manage to bring home another kill, and now Lions grouped up as 3 once more. A lot of action in this game, Breaky. Deathmatch is not disappointing so far.
It isn't, and here we are, just game number 1 of our first of 3 best of 5s, obviously coming up in consecutive days here. But I want to go to this Pandemonium pickup. Speaking of action, I mean, obviously that's a great insistent of that. They really making a point that they need these picks to happen. In fact, speaking of it right there, he gets the jump on Engineer. He does get a kill with it, so that is good. They do lose a top tower, but again, it's a case of, could they defend it in the first place? Probably not, so that really isn't the biggest deal in the world. At least they made something happen in the process with a counter kill. He really needs that Shrunken Head, though, and I believe he still needs both the Warhammer and the pattern before he has it, so he's still a little bit off of that, but it is coming along pretty nicely. Once he gets that combination, the fact that he doesn't have damage items necessarily isn't a big deal. That keeps going back to the Aurora, the Torrent, himself with the Flick, the goo that's put down. There's so much enhanced damage that he's going to be able to put out. He doesn't really need those damage items to be the biggest attribution to his team. And this also goes back to the Legion team. One thing I wanted to point out is the lack of a Soul's Bulwark pickup on this Legion side. Sure, you can maybe expect it on a Pebbles next, but he was slower with that portal key. But then also even something as simple as a Plated Greaves They do have a Ring of the Teacher at least, but even a Plate of Greaves would be nice here, which they don't have. So I think Lions is overlooking that a little bit.
Yeah, I think they're actually really concerned. Well, so they're actually going to get caught out right here. Bat Blast goes in. The auto attacks will be enough to finish her off. She does get a Poison Burst off, and good response by Cream's going to TP back to base immediately. I don't know if that would have been enough to actually kill him, and still taking a considerable amount of damage in base, but no, he's going to be fine. Yeah, I think that Lions, they might have been feeling that they were maybe a little bit more ahead. We talked about them maybe being a little bit more cocky these days, and maybe feeling that they could build whatever they wanted. Refresher, maybe a little bit more fun of an item for Keeper of the Forest, and wanted to get that one, feeling that he could fight more with it rather than something like an Abyssal Skull or a Soul's Bulwark. But yeah, I'd definitely like to see an Abyssal Skull coming out of Keeper when he does finish off that Refresher. And then, of course, Pebbles, Soul's Bulwark, you already talked about that one. Although I think that Pebbles is probably going to need a Shrunken Head first.
Yeah, I mean, that is... I don't know, though. In this game, I really almost want to say, because of the items that his teammates are going, if he's going to go Shrunken Head first, then Keeper needs to get that Soul's Bulwark neck, or they need a Tempest or Keeper then, because, like, yeah, so he could go the Shrunken Head, but... Again, they just need that. That on top of the red boot still on Keeper, getting a Plate of Greaves, I feel like would be very beneficial here for the team. He does have the Restoration Stone now, so he is going to buy it right here most likely, and he will be able to have a double root. I mean, that obviously is a huge deal. That's plenty of lockdown to have. The Shrunken Head is coming up on Pandemonium, but even with that, he still will be able to lock down, let alone everyone else. So obviously that is going to be a huge item pickup. But again, it does go back to the idea that maybe it's a little risky there with that style of choice. But the fact that he has it now, it's all said and done, so he will be able to use that. By the way, also Slither's build here. He went the Firebrand. He does have another 1,100 gold saved up. But that's another thing, you know, you can look at a little bit. Maybe he could have gone a little bit more of a tankier choice. I kind of wonder if he's going to look to turn that into more of the Dawnbringer style, however, or just a straight-up Geometer Spain here, but we'll just have to wait and see. Top lane, though, Keeper of the Force, he is going to use the one-rip, but in comes Pandemonium, the swamp as well. He's going to be locked down. Keeper's going to fall. Oh, no. Well, that's a big pick on a Keeper.
Yeah, it most certainly is. Level 14. He's down for 50 seconds. And Lions, they probably saw that Restoration Stone, meaning he does not have a buyback. Or, excuse me, AL probably saw that. Lions going to try to counter push, but this could be very dangerous. This tower is going to go down. Will they get out fast enough? There's the Torrent as well as the Kraken ultimate coming out.
Tempest is in trouble. Tempest going to be locked down. Backblast with a couple as well. Tempest will forward there. Pebble stuff in the background. They are clumped up for them, but no Tempest, no Keeper. They will get the kill to Pandemonium, looks like. He gets the kill first, though, on it. Pebbles right there. Double tap coming up for Silka, though. And now, so this chase with the poison damage taking place. You see Wretched Hack. She's running back. Pandemonium did buy back. I don't think that's going to result in too much, though, other than just quick farming here for him. But, AL, they do at least do enough to hold the pick on a Keeper at the top lane, and they get Tempest killed right away. Obviously, those are the two key heroes in these team fights. If they don't have to deal with either one of them, then yes, they have great possibility to win these fights, as we kind of saw right there. So a buyback on Pandemonium, not the biggest deal in the world, even though they didn't get a whole lot out of it in the end. He is going to still have that Shrunken Head here in just a matter of seconds now. So I gotta say, it's a mix of me honestly being a little bit impressed even with AL going into this match, but also Lions, again, the question making, and actually Keeper, he finishes Ghost Marchers here. I just really continue to go back to, I think they're underestimating the potential of this minus armor and what it's doing to you from this Hellborn team, but still refusing to go the Plate of Greaves, the Soul's Bulwark. Obviously, he is going the Shrunken Head, so I'm very, very interested to see what Keeper goes for next, whether it's an Abyssal Skull or Soul's Bulwark here, or something else at this point, so we'll see.
Yeah, I could definitely see merit for getting one of those, either the Soul's Bulwark or the Abyssal Skull. I would say the Souls is going to be the better of the two options right away, but I think that Jonas is probably going to go a Portal Key. That's kind of what I'm feeling, and well, we'll have to see.
I mean, yeah. I mean, again, it's. I don't want to feel like or making a point that like they absolutely knew that they wanted to win this game. I mean, it's not an absolute. I mean, having a Portal Key, yes, it'll allow him to jump in there, get the jump on the Hellborn team, and root it 4, if not all 5 of them, even if he gets the positioning for that, which it will be big, especially with the double roots. Don't get me wrong. Again, I'm not sitting here saying they absolutely need that, but you just feel like it's almost an obvious thing here from this Hellborn side. Yet we're not seeing a whole lot of that, and that even goes back to things like tablets here on the Legion side as well, maybe from that Tempest. Tempest does have 3,000 gold saved up So he very possibly is going into a shrunken head, I would think, maybe himself. But even with that, they're still, of course, got the swap and the release of Kraken to be able to take care of him from channeling. So
it's kind of interesting, Breaky. I seem to recall the last time that we cast Lions together, you were bringing up a lot of the same points about Lions not going for the team fight or the team-based items as much as other teams go for it. Talking about the Soul's Bulwark, the Abyssal Skull or Gnome's Wisdom, the Barrier Idol, or even the Energizer. Like, things that are just absent on this team. Normally you would have probably a Sackstone on somebody. Normally you would probably have that Soul's Bulwark up if you're looking at a Team Stay Green or even IG or TMSR at this point. So Lions going those more individual route items. It's definitely a departure from what we've seen from them in past months, but going something a little bit different right here. Now, I gotta say, Absolute Legends is playing very well right now. A lot better than I really expected out of them, and they're looking good. Their coordination is clearly there, especially Creams getting his roam on, setting up kills for Cookies. Cookies able to get those independent kills as well, and all the while, both King Plato, Cookies, and Wretched Hag being played by Present are all getting their farm. They're sticking in here against Lions.
They really are, and I'll be the first to admit, again, I honestly just did not expect AL to do a whole lot here going into this deathmatch. I just frankly didn't, because of lack of practice. They're going against a great team of Lions, but here we go, the top lane, Keeper of the Force, this is going to be picked off again! They find him all alone at the top lane. Slither stops his TP from going, because by the time he would have gone through, Keeper was already dead, so again, this jump potential, it goes back to the portal key choice first on Pandemonium. I think that's proved to actually be a pretty damn good choice for him. He has the Shrunken, obviously, now. Another 1,300 gold, in fact, even saved up. You have a Grimoire in the works for Hag as well. She has a Blessed Orb. I saw her purchase it, so she just needs the pattern now, and she'll have that Grimoire on top of being a level 15. I mean, there are a lot of really good things going right now for AL, and honestly, late game, I'm all for AL. I mean, team fight, sure. There is still strong team fight all throughout this game on Legion's side, but that damage potential really is going to taper off here as we get from the mid to the late game stage. You know, Slither, sure, he can do quite a bit of damage over time. He's great for that in team fights, but as far as individual attack damage, you know, he's not your go-to carry of choice by any means. You have a Pandemonium, a Kraken has great late game presence, a Wretched Hag, obviously we know what she can do. And it goes back to also just that minus armor and the potential that they have with all that. So yeah, Lions should feel a little bit worried here to an extent.
I absolutely agree with you, Breaky. Their initiation potential is one thing, but they're falling behind. They have not initiated a team fight in probably close to 10 minutes, although Andromeda could be in some trouble. And Pebble's going to go forward, activates a haste, and gets stuck. Still going to move forward. That's way too risky, though. Super KGE going to have to fall back right now. And so on top of that, I mean, yes, the damage potential from Lions is pretty minimal. You've already got Shrunken Heads here on 2 targets. Absolute Legends is not going to be taking damage from Pebbles and Slither, which are your main sources of damage. Hag is going to have a Shrunken Head probably in the next 5 minutes.
Yeah,
I don't know what Lions is going to do, really. I think that they're in a really bad position. They need to catch Absolute Legends off guard with a big team fight.
Yeah, yes and no, but I love what they're doing here. They're if anything, forcing a team fight. They're saying, we're going to do Conquer. If you want to fight us, bring it on. We're ready. We have the team fight potential. And in fact, here we go. The jump from Pebbles on a Wretched Hag. Shrunken is going off. The jam is ultimate release. The Kraken's going to stop it, though. Can they work over that? Poison Burst coming out right here. The second root going to be used by Giving the Force. Pandemonium locking it down. Pandemonium with that Shrunken Head up. Will it be enough? Bad Bless hits 4 heroes. Down goes Pebbles right there. Tempest in trouble as well as in there. Pandemonium with a Force doing so much damage. Will it be enough for the end? No. Tempest is going to fall, but now Cookie's in trouble. Cookies is dropping. He will go down. He has another buyback. It will be his final one if he wants to use it, though. Kraken is going to be the sole survivor. It is a 1 versus 3 right here.
Here's the buybacks.
Kraken is just putting in damage. Tsunami charge away. Buyback for Pandemonium and Hag. They're going to look for a response here. Will they get it?
They're certainly not going to catch any kills. Good call by whoever from Lions was watching the buybacks. And I gotta say, that team fight actually could have gone 100% AL's way. That was all on Creams, to be honest. Like, that was something that we would not have seen out of Tankathet if he was on Andromeda. He swapped Hag out of a Pebbles combo when the damage had already gone, instead of saving your swap for a Tempest with a Shrunken Head. Like, that was just really questionable. And it went off at the exact same time. Tempest was already going up, but Creams got a little bit overzealous. So, not going perfectly by any means. Now, AL is going to try to snipe this Kongor. Lions, they're on the prowl, though. They're coming for the hunt.
They do not want to give him a free Conqueror by any means. They know that that would be huge for AL. AL, though, they're not going to be able to finish off just yet. You see Lions is ready. All 5 of them are up. So Tempest is not here. And, of course, they don't have their ultimates. And AL very aware of that. So without their ultimates, team fight is a little bit different, of course. And, in fact, there's a jump right there. Pandemonium going to conquer. They get the kill. Pebbles jumps in. In comes Kraken, though, with the charge on the Pebbles. Pebbles is taking a lot of damage off the bat. Shrugging goes up, but the physical damage doesn't give two shits. Down post. Pebbles right there. Energy field going to go up, though. Shrugging is off. Release the Kraken on the Engineer. Engineer being locked down. Meanwhile, over here, Pandemonium's trying to run. Stun on a Keeper of the Force. Still they're chasing. Pandemonium knows he's dead. He has the token, though. He's going to come back up. Tempest is following, but that should be the end. Oh, Pandemonium. Ballsy move here by Cookies. Don't know about that.
Here comes the root. He's dead. Yeah, he needs to get swamped out of there by Andromeda, but if she swaps, then I don't know. AL's falling apart. Oh, Solar Skin comes in, does a lot of damage, but Andromeda gonna go down here. So they're gonna go ahead and man up onto Wretched Hag. Now there's a buyback onto Master of Arms. Fork Lightning going out doing a lot of damage. So there is going to fall, and Kraken gonna go down as well. So Absolute Legends maybe getting a little bit overzealous right there, but they do get a couple extra kills, and Lions just gonna go ahead and fall back. So, man, that was a very interesting and drawn out fight, Breaky.
Yeah. It's interesting because, again, it goes back to Lions. They did not have a root. They did not have a Tempest ultimate right there, at least initially. The root eventually came up, of course, but you know what's done was, but the Pandemonium decision to go back in kinda when he did, that really set the tone of AO was gonna start to fall apart, especially at that point. So they did get the Conquer kill, but obviously it came at a massive cost right there. They ended up losing the token right away, and they tried to make some momentum work. Can't blame them, but in the end, long story short, Lions is actually feeling pretty good after that fight. Now, again, you look at the golden experience advantage, as it is not overwhelming by any means here in this game even after that, but the biggest thing to look at is the buyback situation. Yep. Your Pandemonium is out of buybacks now, and we're only 30.5 minutes in, so you know, knowing that he does not have that capability of being able to, which has obviously been huge so far and always is huge in games, is a pretty big deal right now in this one. Also, I want to go back real quickly to the Andromeda that you're talking about in the previous fight before that. In terms of Creams, unfortunately using it just beforehand. I kind of wonder if they knew Tempest had the shrunken head at that point, because again, he just bought it very recently going into that fight. So I wonder if he hadn't shown it yet, and if that's the case, you do maybe get a little bit of slack there to Creams. But if he did show it, then yeah, I do agree with you. You have to save that for the Tempest ultimate. But
not 100% sure, but I'm willing to flame Creams a little bit. We're friends. I'm willing to flame him. That's happening right here, right now. But Breaky, I completely agree with you. The buyback situation here, it's one thing if you've got a token of life on this Pandemonium, then maybe he's got 5 or 6 minutes where he can be a little bit more risky. Right now, Panda dies, and Lions has a gigantic window. Like, if Lions does not get wiped out, they will take a Rax. They will take a team fight if that Panda is dead. So Cookies has to play a lot more cautious, and for me, Cookies and caution do not go in the same sentence.
I was gonna say, that's not how he plays. It's not in his vocabulary.
Yeah, so I'm really worried that Cookies might get picked off here, and that's just gonna be, oh, I guess we'll just turn the lights out now, guys. This game's over. But we'll have to see about that one. And he is going an interesting item now. Helm of the Victim. So I assume this is gonna be an Insanitarius. It could be a Whispering Helm, but I feel like that would be really late and just kind of awkward. I think it's just going to be an Insan, which is definitely an item that does work pretty well with Panda, not one that we see too often, but could definitely be interesting, and we'll see. Lions, they're just going to go ahead and congregate on the top side of this map, though, Breaky. Try to take this one over, so we're going into a little bit of a split push situation. This will give AL the opportunity to push the bottom tower, though, if Lions doesn't respond.
Yeah, I mean, if they were banking on him to be more of that late game carry, then I think something like an eventual Dawnbringer could have been a good pickup for him. But I think the Insanitarius obviously makes sense, as you said. You know, being that strength hero, he doesn't necessarily need those attack modifiers. He's getting so much minus armor from his teammates that just having that bulked up damage, that upfront damage, being able to also get an extra 475 life on use is also pretty nice too. So. They are going to push this bottom lane. They are going to take out the tower. It looks like Lions, although with vulnerability, they are porting in. Tempest doesn't have a PK. He has 2,700 gold saved up, though. So Hanska definitely pulling up that gold. Looking in the flank, by the way. They do deny the tower. Engineer is scouting things out with that Nature's Veil, but I don't know if they're really going to get anything out of this. Maybe the hack's still hanging around, but
If the other set of
I don't think
trees
that's
was
what
there,
happened, so.
Engineer would have gone for a kill.
Yeah.
But somehow those trees were gone, and so he wasn't able to get into perfect position. There's the demonic breastplate just finished up by Keeper. So he's listened in Breaky. He's like, all right, we'll go ahead and get the armor from the demonic. I think that's a very good choice there from Keeper of the Forest. No portal key going to be coming out of him just yet. And as far as where Tempest's money is going to be going, I'm not exactly sure, but I kind of feel like a Frostfield plate would be an interesting one. Outside of that, a sheepstick could definitely be good if he was able to get a portal key plus a sheep, but I think that's probably a little bit too far away to be saving up right now. So
I'm just thinking the Resto Stone.
Yeah, I mean, that's also a very good possibility. Offensive Master's calling a Panda? What the hell?
They were trying to jump Keeper right there, I believe. He was in the middle lane. He started running away, though, by the time they went to initiate, so it was kind of awkward. It's like, yeah, okay, not really. So decided to just farm up the group up instead, and that was definitely the safer call. No point to chase after him. The hero I'm really intrigued, though, is actually Slither again. 3,400 gold saved up on him. Where is he going to go in terms of his build? And you talked about something like a Frostfield plate. Honestly, if anything, I might want to see it on him, if anything. You know, kind of help him bulk up. As well as mana can definitely be decent for him, and then because this poison burst actually gets pretty expensive. I mean, see level 3, that's 375 mana cost. So on top of the poison spray that he needs and just constantly spamming the wards. Wards are only 20, so not the biggest deal. I mean, again, he doesn't absolutely need mana by any means, but Frostfield play to help him bulk up specifically against this Hellborn team. Again, I don't think would be out of the question, but that or we'll see what else is on the market. Maybe just wants to go more right-click damage focus, Savage Mace possibly, but. Been a while since we've seen a true hard carry Slither, I'll say that much.
I wouldn't mind seeing something like a Genjiro on him. I think that would be an interesting pickup. Outside of that, it gets a little bit more interesting. There was almost a kill on a Wretched Hag up in the top lane, by the way. Pebbles got her down to within one auto attack, but a nice timed blink along with the defensive Master's Call saved her, and she's able to get out of there. But she does finish up the Shrunken Head now. So that damage from the Lions team is starting to fall perhaps a little bit further and further behind. I think that Absolute Legends choice now, I think they're just going to turtle up until next Kongor. Say that we need to take next Kongor, we need to get a Token of Life onto Pandemonium, and after that we have 7 minutes to secure ourselves this game. So I think that's what they're really looking for, and Lions are saying, okay, let's get up every item we can between now and then. That Restoration Stone, 1,500 gold off if that's Tempest route, as well as the Shrunken Head that was just finished up on Slither. So instead of going the more damage-oriented route, going extremely defensive with this Shrunken.
Well, yeah, it's a defensive, but again, so was a Frostfield play. And again, I really think you could put value into the Frostfield play just because of this makeup. That's not every day you say Frostfield would have been better than a Shrunken Head here, but because of the makeup that they're going up against, where it's stressing that physical presence, I think it at least could have been thought about. Not something that they didn't do that. In the end, Shrunken Head is never really a bad option, so it's hard to sit here and say, Frostfield would have absolutely 100% been better. I mean, Shrunken Head will do benefits for you, of course, in these fights, but I do look at that and I do kind of wonder how it could have been different possibly with the Frostfield, but
kind of comes down to the way that you want to play Slither. In this case, Fuzi is not one of those players that goes Helm of the Black Legion like we used to see Trixie go and then just says, hey everybody, focus me while the rest of my team kills you. Slither is their sustained damage with auto attacks and with poison sprays, wards, and everything else. These sustain damage. So going an item like the Geometer's Bane to get the increased mobility really does synergize a little bit better with the Shrunken Head, in my opinion, so that you can remain mobile and avoid the damage rather than soak up and mitigate the damage, which is what that Frostfield plate combination would really give you. You got Pebbles and you got Keeper of the Forest, mostly Keeper of the Forest, is sitting there saying, hey, I've got 45 armor. Everybody look at me. Look at me. Hit me. Hit me. Slither's running around in the back being like, I'm going to hit you with this poison, and I'm going to hit you with this poison, and hey, look, you're dead now. Yay. So, just a little bit different right there.
I mean, you do look at the armor across the board here in this Legion team. I mean, even Slither at 15 armor, that's not too bad. But you see what's coming at you. You got the Torah. You're looking at -5 from that. You got -8 from Flick. You got -8 from Aurora, or -5 from Aurora. So you're looking at -18 right there. Then there's a Goo on top of that. I believe it does a total of -5 at level 4, if I'm not mistaken, when that's down. So you're looking at -23 armor. That has possibly, the likelihood of all of that coming together, maybe not 100%. Plus the demonic breastplate. They do have one themselves, though, so in that sense, it maybe kind of counters it. But you're looking at anywhere from -10 to 20 armor. A good chance they're going to have -10 to 20 armor in these team fights whenever they're happening. So you look at Pebbles, Tempest, and Engineer, that would put them all at 0, if not negative. I mean, again, now they do have a Nature's Veil buff, of course. They're getting +8 armor from that, or +10 armor, excuse me, is of course very nice as well. And to kind of counter that to an extent, but they do have the Abyssal Skull now, by the way, so that is good to see that here on Lion Esports Club. And where's Pandemonium going now? 2,300 gold saved off, so that I'm also very intrigued to see where he follows up. But I think we found a little bit of a timing window here, Beef. It looks like both teams gonna start some pushes now. We'll see what happens out of this.
Yeah, definitely. Absolute Legend saying, hey, Kongor is going to be coming back up here momentarily. We're going to get strategic map control by actually pushing up the bottom lane, but here comes the TPs. AL's ready to fight this one, and I'm a little bit concerned about taking a fight right here. Lions appears to be as well, as they are going to pull back, but any kind of map control that Absolute Legends might have gained from that is being given up a little bit by TPing mid and not being able to counter ward.
Yeah.
On the bottom side, but Lions is not really too concerned with that. They instead want to defend their tower back at home, and we'll see. Engineer, no eye on him. Master of Arms going to be coming down to the Kongor pit pretty soon here, though, and he might be able to do a ward sweep and allow the Absolute Legends team to try to set up this Kong. 40 minutes into this game, Breaky, 23-22 hero kills, and we're looking still pretty close on those resources, man.
I'm a little curious as to AL's decision there, how about whether they should have kept pushing, honestly. I know this is not they're probably not going to outpush this Legion team by enemies in the long run, but they basically made it to the base at the same time. I think they only had 4 players there initially, so if anything, that's why they were really scared to maybe try to compete right there. But I feel like they could have at least risked trading right there. We do see middle lane, though. Kraken getting caught. He pops the Stricken Head, release the Kraken, catches it in the air. Tempest ultimate being used to lock him down, but he gets caught, and now Kraken's just going to walk away as if nothing happened.
Okay.
Wow, this is huge for AL. Andromeda chasing, but no, they're not going to be able to get a swap off. And actually, Andromeda's going to get caught. It's not over yet. Stricken Head now going up for Pebbles. We're going to start a fight this Lions. They really want to go here. Andromeda is going to eventually go down. Here comes, oh, he swaps on the last second. He's going to fall in the process. But now Pandemonium going, and he jumps Engineer. The Flurry's turned a lot. Bad Blast hits 3 heals. Huge Soda Scream on top. There's the second ultimate though for Tempest. As well as the Root Front Keeper. He chucks him in. A second Root's going to come out as well. And Kraken will go down. And holy crap, AL's now falling apart here in this fight. Pandemonium, he's going to eventually drop as well. Oh man, Hack survives, but it all came together there for Lions by the very end. AL, they should have been happy that Kraken got away, I think. But
yeah, I think I gotta agree with you right there. Both teams kind of playing a little bit overzealous. Lots of mistakes made, and this is that situation that I'm talking about. Pandemonium's dead. This is now going to be a 4-on-5. Well, I mean, Engineer's dead, but not nearly as important. And AL, they cannot really defend this, like commit to a full defense right now. But it looks like they're going to posture like it, and Lions are a little bit too cautious. They're going to fall back right now and say, okay, we don't have our cooldowns. We're not confident here. Yeah. And I guess that we're going to go back to status quo. Interesting.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they know Pandemonium is out of buybacks, but as you said there, they don't have their cooldowns. I mean, this is a team that is very, very reliant on their ultimates, especially between Keeper and Tempest. You throw Slither even on top of that. Energy field was up, but, you know, without at least 2, if not 3, if not all of them up even, they really don't feel the most confident. So not worth the risk. They know they still have the upper hand in this game. AL, though, again, they're going to try to be sneaky here. They were spotted going into the pit, however. So Lions is very aware of this. Pandemonium is still waiting to res. So they're missing out on a lot of extra damage from him. If they 100% commit here, this could possibly be a Conger kill, but I think they might get it. You got Slither at the top lane still. He's going to show himself. This should be a kill. Well, they're going to get a token at least. That's good.
It certainly is. Now, will they save it for Panda, or are they going to allow Wretched Hag to have it? It is going to go to Panda, so he's able to portal key on in there at the last second, and all of a sudden, I think AL's back in a decent spot in this game. Invis bottled up here on Panda, but I got to go back a couple minutes to what you were saying, Breaky. I think that I agree with you. The base race decision there from Absolute Legends, I think they should have committed to it. Trading a bottom racks right there for a middle racks based on these team compositions, I feel like is actually something that would have put AL in the lead, especially since you're trying to secure Kongor. Having that bottom lane of racks down is really, really nice, meaning that somebody from the Lions is going to have to fall all the way back. But in any case, not going to be happening here. Slither picks up a Dancing Blade. Got a Reaver coming out, Axe of the Malphite here on Pandemonium, so he's going Heart. That's kind of what I expected next. Brutalizer on Keeper of the Forest. Oh, man, Breaky.
Oh. You know what? I mean, he has the full demonic. Might as well synergize that with the Brutalizer, right?
Punch,
you know,
punch.
I mean, I like it's You know, obviously at this point you could argue something maybe like a sheep stick having a double sheep would be very nice. But it does go back to the what we were talking about too. As you start getting the more late game, the damage potential does die off here for the Legion team a little bit. I mean, granted, Slither, he's still doing a lot at the same time, and especially now with the Wingbow purchases, auto attacks are powerful, but it's more overtime damage. Keeper is going to be now more assisting in that, a little bit of upfront burst damage with those auto attacks, on top of being able to add a little bit of extra lockdown. So yeah, I think you could have said the sheep stick might have been a more safer, better route even, but at the same time, Brutalizer, it does have its purpose, especially since he has, like I said, a full demonic and even an abyssal skull on top of that. So he is putting out really good damage, actually.
I got to interrupt you here, Breaky. Lions is about to go for some real rat hon. You can see the way that they're moving up the middle and the top lanes right now. They saw that Absolute Legends was moving bottom and immediately ports back from Absolute Legends. This just shows Lions' experience in playing this style of Han where you're able to moderate your opponent's movements and making sure that they're doing it just as well as any of these other top teams. And Absolute Legends aren't really able to counter it. They don't have the tenacity to just say, okay, we're going to push bottom and you guys can take our tower or our racks mid, but we're going to get our bottom tower. In any case, it wasn't a Wingbow, by the way, on Slither. He had bought the Dancing Blade, sold it again, and now just picked up an Ice Brand. He's going to have a Frostbow skull here momentarily.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's what I was thinking about that. But, you know, obviously the idea of attack modifier on Slither, even though that change happened a long time ago, still is a little bit odd, honestly, even still nowadays seeing it. But it is sure enough going to be a Frosted Skull, and of course, that'll prove to be. I like the idea that it's going to help even extra kiting potential, extra slow potential, on top of just really bulking himself up in the at least in the health presence. So, yeah, I mean, I could definitely appreciate it. I mean, the Wingbow would have been nice too, though. You get more armor from that. The evasion aspect is good. So I don't know. I don't know how I actually ultimately feel about that. I think the Wingbow might have been better and just more damage output too could have also been good, but. He's going to go the Frost Wolf Skull, excuse me. Frost Field Blade is actually finished by Pebbles. Yay. So they do have that now as well. And Pebbles is a good candidate for that as well because you do see his armor alone is only 11.6 right now. But now with the Frost Field, that is going to jump up quite a bit. So
yeah,
it's good that he gets that.
All the way up to 26 or something like that with the plus 15, I think, here from the Frost Field Plate. That's actually plus 20? Did I see that right? Am I insane? Pebbles, stop moving. Let me click on you.
It is at plus 15.
There we go. Yeah. So yeah, gonna be able to get that, and of course, recently got buffed not too long ago to be a percentage-based attack speed slow rather than just a minus 25. Now minus 20%. So that's always gonna be nice. Now nobody on the other team is gonna be attacking particularly fast. Maybe the Wretched Hag can start to attack pretty fast, but she doesn't really have those right-click items just yet. And Pebbles activates his 8th haste rune of the game and grabs another double damage. So Lions has been doing a really good job with that. But here comes Lions, going to try to outmaneuver the AL team once more and try to make sure that they retain map control while dodging team fights as long as this token is up.
Yeah, well, they're going to go to the bottom. AL, they're already TPing back. At least Master of Arms is. Gets there, gets the goo down. He, by the way, is working on a Nullfire Blade. Love seeing that. I think, obviously, Nullfire Blade against heroes like Keeper especially. Very good. Against Slither especially. Very good. So yeah, I can appreciate the Nullfire pickup. You can say something like a Tablet also is always a pretty nice pickup for him in this case. But, yeah, I think the Nullfire Blade actually makes a lot of sense here. So, going to be a good assisting item for his team. But, Rat Noda, as it's called, they pushing, force it to fall back. And they just quickly clean up the resources such as the Ancients. And now they'll fall back to their own jungle. So... continuing to keep AL on their toes. The token alive has 2 minutes remaining, but you're in an odd spot if you're AL. You can't really feel like you can force this.
Sure you can. Force throne. Throne race.
I mean, yeah.
Throne race right now, Absolute Legends. No, that's reserved for Soundblaster Heroes League. Maybe in Season 3. We'll see. Yeah. You heard it here first, folks. No throne racing until Soundblaster Heroes League Season 3. We'll have to see. In any case... yeah, not allowed. Banned.
What do you have on Tempest, by the way? 4,400 gold. I'm guessing a sheep stick for him probably is makes
still needs
that ring of sorcery probably. I don't even know if he's really. I think he just goes sheep stick here instead of even a portal key. I mean,
with the way he's saving up his gold, he is, but I'm a little bit upset about it. Sheep stick gains like 3 times as much utility when you accompany it with a portal key, and Tempest in general just loves a portal key. I'd love for him to get rid of his stupid ring of sorcery right now and get a portal key, but. He needs it. I'm upset right now, Breaky. It's 48 minutes in. You don't need the Ring of Sorcery on Tempest anymore. You have huge int gain. But in any case, maybe not going to be going for it. Could get that ring, excuse me, the sheepstick in about another 100 gold. So very soon here, and once again, 45 seconds now on this token of life. Absolute Legends has not managed to do anything with it. It's going to be wasted. Now they're going to have to take another risky Kong fight. I really think they missed an opportunity.
Ooh, and actually a misclick right there from Cookies. He actually used a shrunken head charge, so that could be crucial. I mean, that's another second off, and he won't have it here for another 50 seconds, so that's definitely and it looks like they're even looking to push here, so that's even more
awkward.
Hurtful. Yeah, that's a lot more awkward. Now, obviously, I don't think the Legion team saw that by any means, but he will not have it. Tokens at 15 seconds, so they just want to push this outer tower out. There's no way they're going to the base, though, at this point. You look at Lions again, though. They're just saying, you try to push our base, we'll just kind of push yours harder. And yet again, they're going to force a decision out of AL. AL already falling back. You got about 3 minutes now before the Congo's going to be up, so it'll probably be up, what, around 52 minutes, pretty much around that time frame. So
yep,
keep an eye on that. That'll be the third Kongor to be coming out. Later on, Portal Key picked up by Kraken here, by the way. Speaking of Portal Key, Kraken decided to get that for his initiation purpose, and definitely no problem with that there, especially to maybe help counter a Tempest Ultimate, but
calling it right
Slither
now.
does finish the Frostal Skull, by the way.
Calling it right now. King Plato ports into a Tempest Ult. I am really just flaming people right now, Breaky. I don't know what's going on. But I don't know. I feel like it's going to happen. I feel like that's maybe a little bit of a concern when getting Portal Key on somebody like that Kraken who wants to drop the Kraken ultimate. I'm just a little bit concerned about that one. So keep an eye on that. It's going to be very important for Kraken to actually get good positioning right there. And once again, Lions are going to be split pushing the middle and the bottom lanes, while the top lane is manhandled here by Absolute Legends. And Cookies will take this tower down relatively quickly, but they're going to have to port back here, and I think this is going to be the opportunity for Lions. I think they're going to wait for these ports, and they might actually just go.
Yeah, they are. I mean, you see AL, they're kind of tapping them a little big. Got Slither Torrent's throwing out. You see the top tower pushed in favor of AR right there, so slight benefit coming out. Again, that 52-minute mark is the important mark. And Lions, if anything, is just waiting it out until then. They're just going to keep AL in their base right here. Pandemonium is off to the side. He has 3,000 life with that Behemoth Art now, and that's without the Insanitarius even being used, so nearly 3,500 actually. Once he does pop that, in fact, just over that, I believe. So here we go. He's actually going to jump in right here. They're going to look to jump Engineer. Can they burst him down quick enough? Of course they can. So no energy field. Pebbles, he misses Slagwitz, actually. Not the best. Ruth to lock down Pandemonium. He already used a Shrunken. That's a mistake by Cookies. There goes the Sheepstick. In comes the Bat Blast, though. They lose Pandemonium. Will it be enough to swap on a Tempest right there? He has a second ultimate. There's a second ultimate. It catches only Kraken, though. They spread out on Absolute Legends. Do they have enough damage, though, without Pandemonium? It doesn't look like it. Lions is rolling through, and Lions looks like they're on their way to taking game number 1 here, possibly. AL buying back, though. They want a last stand here, Beef.
They certainly do. Kraken's going hard in the back, but DreamHack taking way too much damage. She is going to go down right here. So they're getting her kite on against Kraken, and that is going to do it. Everybody dead other than Master of Arms. GG, well played. It's being called, Breaky. That's it.
That'll do it. Game number 1. Again, just game number 1. Holy crap, here in this best of 5 coming at you. Lion Esports Club, they do surely enough pull through, but it was not an easy trek whatsoever. AL, yeah, I give them all the credit in the world, honestly. They really came out swinging. They were impressive. They played very solid. You know, the last fight there, however, you look at the Shrunken Head use on Pandemonium, you can't do it. You have to, at the very least, save it for a root. I mean,